Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Down the Rabbit Hole News. I am the Rabbit. Hey, shout out to Inner City Press for, tweeting and helping everybody understand what is going on in the courtroom. I also want to shout out BJ Investigates, who hit the link while we were live on the Menendez brothers. We had an interesting conversation and I wanted us to get into it. And I want to make sure people do not miss out. This is really kind of like our thoughts about the first week of jury selection and how it concluded and kind of where we're at. Looks like Monday is going to be a very busy day for this Diddy trial. Let's go. So then I was like, okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, they didn't pick anybody yet. Are we worried that people are going to quit over the weekend? Like, I'm worried about that. I'll be honest.
Okay, so yes, I covered this extensively. Cause did you see? I don't know if you were I did see you were live. I don't know which part you were. You were there for the whole time?
No, I started late. So
Okay, that's what I thought, like
started when
11,
the news
right?
broke. Yeah, I think you
What
started
time is
before
it?
I did.
Yeah, 12:40. So okay, so what so there was a point in time that Matthew Russell Lee had just basically stopped tweeting for 18 minutes. He just stopped tweeting. And he starts tweeting another case. And I'm like, are they done for the day? But then he came back. So that was interesting. But so in the time that he was gone for a long time, I kept having to basically how it is when you're live. You have to kind of keep it going. You have to talk about something else. He's not tweeting for 18 minutes. What do you want me? You got to start singing a song or something.
I
So
start putting in clips of things on Diddy because I'm like, all right, I hate the dead silence of things. So
I
yeah,
know
that's what I
it's a
do.
lot of pressure. People don't y'all in the chat better drop some rabbits because y'all don't even know what goes into trying to keep people entertained, keeping your little numbers up while while nothing's happening.
You don't want people to drop. That's what you don't want. So yeah, definitely.
It's I don't actually care if people drop for the sake of the numbers, but I like to keep people entertained and
Yes.
educating them. And it's if nothing's happened, I really can't do that. Well, I can
Yeah.
and I do, but it's hard. It's hard. Because I'm I want to provide a value. I don't want to just be dead air, just sitting here. I want to make it valuable for people's time or whatever. So anyway, yes, I talked about this a few times in the video this morning because I kept having to stall and waste time. So some people in here might have already heard me say this 11 times.
Yes.
But and a lot of this stuff you already know too. But Wednesday was supposed to be the last day of jury selection. And they were supposed to do the peremptory strikes on Wednesday, 2 days ago. So that didn't happen. And the reason it didn't happen was because both of the sides, both the prosecutors and Diddy's side, the defense, both sides just wanted to wait. And the judge was like, it's lunchtime on Wednesday. We could be done with it today. So we can be done and have a jury. But both sides, both Agnifilo and Agnifilo's Diddy side and the defense, they were saying, excuse me, they were saying, no, Your Honor, we don't want to waste our strikes because if we were to get it down today, it was 45 people. They were like, if we were to narrow it down today, there might not be enough people left in the jury because there's a lot of people dropping out. And Your Honor, there's some people that's lied. There's some people that has told lies about things. They've said that they weren't involved in any lawsuits. Come to find out, yes, they were.
Yes.
There were people that, all this stuff. So if that were to happen, let's say Wednesday, they were to pick their 12 jurors plus their 6 alternates, and just one of those people would have had lied. Uh-oh. Were you going to call somebody back who you already dismissed? No. So what are you going to do? So I think that is why the judge said, all right, fine. We don't have to do it on Wednesday. We can do it on Friday, first thing in the morning. Mark Agnifilo was like, no, Your Honor. We don't want to do it today either. We don't want to do it today either. We want to do it first thing, earliest you can be here, earliest first thing in the morning on Monday. And the judge looked at him and goes, 7 a.m. And then that was his joke. He likes to get his little jokes in, it seems like.
Yeah.
Judge Subramanian. Did you see the article of him walking to court with his backpack?
With his back, he just looked like a regular schmegular. They got him. I think TMZ was the one that put it out there. He's walking in with the backpack, and I'm like, look, what'd you guys expect? Did you think he was gonna walk in with a limo or like?
Where's Seth? Did you see that? You should be the smart one.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think actually that made me like trust him more or something. Like, yeah, he's just like a guy going to work. Like, I got to go to my stupid Diddy case today. Like, he never really graduated from law school. He just stayed there. Like,
yeah, mentally. And then it sounds like he teaches too, right? Like
it seems like he's a professor. But I think that guy the other day that came in on jury duty was actually his contemporary, his colleague.
What were the chances of somebody being picked who was a guard, I'm assuming, or a staff at MDC? What were the chances of that? That's weird that
MDC, I think probably high, actually.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about who the jury like even gets these mailers, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, like, you know, a lot of people we know would not get these in the mail for any reason. You know, it's like a lot of people don't get summoned for jury duty. But if you're working at the MDC, you've already like passed, you're above board. You know what I mean? You've passed, you're definitely got your citizen or your green card or whatever. You're like probably legal, right? You know, they're not sending to people who are undocumented. They're not sending you jury duty. You like they you know, legally nobody knows you're here. So you're not going. And then people who I think you got to be registered to vote. So that eliminates a lot of people.
Yes.
So it's like actually I would think there would be a lot of doctors. Like people from professions where you already get vetted and you have to be above board, I would think there would be a lot of them. And then you got to think about what the overinflated, how they invest the money, the billions or whatever into the criminal justice system. You already know what they do. They build up these private prisons and then they build up the public prisons and then they hire everybody and their mama to work at them and just keep sucking the public funds to keep more people in a prison. So there's probably 11 million people working at the MDC. Think about all the people that's there. Luigi Mangione.
Yes.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yep.
Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs alone. Okay. So there's probably so many people, you know, that's where Jay Steen, you know, him, who perhaps
Epstein.
It happened at the MDC.
Yeah.
So anyway, it didn't like fully surprise me there would be an MDC guy there, but it definitely did make me kind of think like, that's a coincidence. You know which one really, like, I would peremptory strike if I only had one? That UN.
That UN
Get out of here.
There. See, I said the same thing. I said, I don't know about this UN person. It doesn't sound right.
Get out.
Doesn't sound right.
Get out of here. And then I was watching Inner City Press video this morning. You probably saw it too. You know, he does little vlogs. I love him. Can we just get some rabbits in the chat for Inner City Press?
Yes. I like him a lot too. I just like that he's like, you know, he's just started his YouTube channel too. I noticed that. So he's like uploading a lot on YouTube now.
We should have him on here.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But I think for somebody who's, you know, didn't start as a YouTuber, but he's out there and it's not the only case that
he's
he covers.
He's a YouTuber in my heart.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot.
He's a natural. Those little vlogs he does, that's all you need. That's a YouTuber.
Put that enough information that you get there and no fluff in between. And he goes to, and this is what I was telling everybody. It's like he covers so many cases. Like he's all over the place. All over the place.
I'm sharp, Rabbit. I'm quick and I'm sharp. I can't keep up with him. I'm like up there, you know, intellectually. I know I am. I can't keep up with what he's keeping up with. All of that. He's in like, it's almost like he's in many places at one time. He'll be in like 2 cases running back. I feel like I imagine him running. Or there's 10 of them just to like copy paste it himself. I don't know.
From courtroom to courtroom, one room to the next.
And he remembers stuff. Plus he writes the books. Plus he sings songs. He writes songs about it, sings the songs, publishes the songs. Plus he has the Substack. Plus he's making the documents available. I can't even keep up with that.
Wait, he writes songs?
Yes. About the trials, and they're good, they're funny. There's one called Diddy Do It. It was the first one, and he plays acoustic guitar, you know, like church guitar, like not electric guitar, like acoustic. And he's like, oh, I got it stuck in my Diddy Do It. And the whole time he's like, Diddy Do It.
Oh my God, you're lying. Oh, I gotta check. I've never even seen that.
They're good. Diddy Do It. Oh, he's good. I love him. Listen, this is a Stan account for Inner City Press. If anybody ever accuses him of a crime, I'm saying he did not do it. And I'm going to
he was probably in court.
The UN better not mess with him.
But I do wonder about, so I mean, they got that HBO person out, you know, the second day, but I do wonder about that.
I'm confused, Rabbit, because now this morning on Inner City Press video, he said they did not. He's still that the HBO person's still in there. What? I thought they were out.
Really?
I thought he was out too. I'm confused. But in any event, I think that'll be one of Diddy's strikes, because I was reading how it works the other day. Because I forgot since I studied for it. I never did this one time. I did it in one little class and then I moved on. I mean, I'm sure it's relatable to people that have been through that. You take the one class and you never do it. But this is what I read online. There's going to be 10. He's going to get to do 10. Diddy gets 10. He gets to eliminate 10 of these 40 people, 43 people. And then the feds get to eliminate 6. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I read on some CNN thing. So anyway, all that to say, your question, to answer it, it's the judge had on Wednesday, he wanted to be done. Both sides were like, there could be issues with that. You know, he talked about it. And then they were like, let's do it Monday. The judge's like, okay, let's do it Monday. But I took from that the judge was trying to get it over with. So then today, whenever that didn't happen, they pushed it off again till Monday, which seems like very optimistic. Like the timeline they were trying to say, it's going to be the jurors are going to get there at 8:30. They're going to start have you ever seen this judge start promptly at anything? No offense, I love him, whatever, like his little backpack moment, but he's like catching the M train or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he ain't starting at 9. So maybe he is. He's saying they're going to start at 9, and then like Nipolo said, it's going to take 10 to 15 minutes to do these peremptory strikes and get the jury down to 18 people, and then 12, and then with the 6 alternates, and then they're going to start it by 9:30 opening statements. I think that's ambitious.
What about victim 3? I thought they were going to address this today, and I didn't even see that.
I think they did. I mean, no one said the word victim 3 as far as from what I saw in the tweets. As you saw, we were looking at the same tweets. But
I said victim 5.
Right. And that victim 5, we're going to know who that is. We are going to know who that is, because the feds had tried to get a pseudonym. You know, they go by Jane Doe or whatever they're going to go by. So far, victim 5 is the pseudonym. Like victim 5, capital V, you know, like it's a name. But the judge said denied. So denying a pseudonym for this victim 5. Victim 5 is going to be known. Victim 1 is going to be known. I'm pretty sure that one's Cassie, unless there's a whole nother footage that came out about a hotel nobody knows about. Okay, like the facts match Cassie. And then victim 3, I think, came up, but the judge was like, I deny the request for pseudonym on victim 4. Excuse me. For victim 5, but on victim, and then he goes, and what about the other one, or something like that. So he doesn't specifically say what about victim 3, but I do think that's it. And then the feds are like, we still don't know, but we'll keep the defense updated.
Do you think that's a problem for the government side, for the prosecution side?
Big problem.
Yeah, that's what people were saying too. I said, wow, well, I guess
there's only 5 witnesses. Victims, excuse me, not witnesses, victims. There's a lot of witnesses. Statutory victims, where they're saying, okay, Diddy is accused of all these crimes. You doing a crime. Who's the victim?
Right.
It needs to be somebody. It needs to be, you know, sometimes it's like Sam Bankman-Fried. There's all these victims, you know.
But could they just say, could they order her in or something like, because I heard that even the lawyer's not even responding.
They could order her. Or they could hold her in contempt of court. I don't exactly know if they could, like, I think they can pick her up and maybe hold her in like jail until the trial is over or something. Or maybe I'm crossing over like memories on that, but there's stuff they could do. It's so hard to know what's real and what's rumors, because it's like we're having to get insider news from TMZ, which is like objectively, obviously a tabloid. We had just literally like 10 minutes before you went live, Nancy freaking Grace, Mark Garagos, and Harvey Levin. You should pull it up when, you know, you don't have to do it right now, maybe when I leave. But Nancy Grace, Harvey Levin, Mark Garagos, who's one of Diddy's lawyers, basically. I mean, he hasn't filed a notice of appearance, but he's been talked to. He's got a talking to from the judge. And this Banfield lady and somebody else was all on there talking. Mark Garagos is like involved. He's already gotten fussed at. And it's the TMZ posted it. It's like TMZ live Diddy trial, US versus Combs.
Oh my God.
You see it? And it's Nancy Grace looking like she's had one too many already at 11 a.m. or whatever time. Like, is the judge going to see this? In
Oh
my
my
opinion, I don't know. I didn't
God.
run the blood alcohol test.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah.
And they got her in such HD. Do you think somebody could tell her staff, just for the sake of the public, about a skin filter?
I mean, it's not that they don't have the resources to do it.
They
She could
obviously
do
got
it.
the budget to run an AstroTurf against me.
There you go. At that surprise witness. I'll never forget the way she said your name. At that surprise witness. I said, oh my God.
And that's
It's the at that surprise witness.
At that surprise witness. Okay.
and then they had Vivian Kensington LARPing across the stage. They did that
Yeah.
because like she was dressed like the villain in Legally Blonde. And they had they were trying to position me as like the Elle Woods, because remember they did that whole commercial
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Legally Blonde. And then like who is her op in the movie? Well, really it ends up being Warren, who's like the douchey boyfriend. But at first it's Vivian Kensington, the sweater vest girl with the 5-carat Harry Winston. So they made this girl literally dress just like her. Like she don't wear those clothes normally. It was like a
Oh
whole
my
theater,
God.
a whole theater op. So they have the budget for that. Get a
Oh
skin
my
filter.
God.
Get a skin filter. Get a light box for the side of the woman's head, please.
Something. Albie Shore just did an interview with.
I do. I'm suspicious of that crap too. Why did he spend all that time talking about lobbying? Anytime that somebody's using a big social movement to lobby something through, I'm suspicious. Red flag, beep, 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 siren, siren.
I get the call from my co-founder, Ms. Rachel Nordlinger. We started the Health Equity and Transplantation Coalition, and we are advocating in Congress, fighting for equal access to quality health care, just focused, and my focus, obviously, standing in Congress and speaking in front of Congress, I've made it very clear. I am not here for the politics. I'm not here for the next election. I'm simply here to save lives of transplant patients. So, so there's a focus there. We've had some success in Congress related to having people come across the aisle, because I made that clear.
So what was funny, because when the other live we were talking about, we watched it, and he finally said that the reason why he believes that it was because of Diddy, that he was in this hospital, right?
There was a bounty on my head. There was a bunch of stuff.
So do you think specifically then that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure?
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
My first time saying it.
Are you concerned that he still has power outside of incarceration?
And then you're really going to be calling the Department of Homeland Security whenever my book comes out.
There you go. And he said that basically he got subpoenaed. So that his lawyers are dealing with, he got subpoenaed for this trial.
Yeah, well, on the day 1 or 2, that book publisher, for his book, Simon and Schuster. So ostensibly,
remember that?
The person who was the head of the department that would have put him on that show this morning was almost a juror. So that's how.
That was crazy. He's like, well, I think that there's somebody named Albie Shore. And I was like, oh my God, what a coincidence. It's like a small world. Honestly, you got 600 people. Out of all the 600 people, you just happen to get this publisher.
I know you are closer to my age, so maybe you do remember this. Do you remember it was like me? It was a meme before memes. It was the 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Hold up. Let me see.
It's not just Kevin Bacon. It's everybody. Like there's 6 degrees from these famous people. Like,
yeah,
not me and you probably, but honestly, yeah. I mean, out of 600 people, if it's like in our hometown where we're living the most, like probably, yeah, somebody would know somebody's grandma's brothers, sisters, somebody's publishing somebody's book. But it makes me nervous about like, how are all these lawyers going to overlap? Like some of these lawyers work against each other sometimes, and all of a sudden they're going to be friends. Like, I mean, that kind of stuff is what makes me be like, how do they just switch? These lawyers, they just switch.
It makes me nervous. And I said this, like, even with Mark Garagos, right? Like your daughter's, with Agnifilo, like even the fact that you're showing up to court, even the fact that you have a podcast and you're able to talk about this there, nobody sees nothing wrong with that. And we don't have,
I think it's I don't see anything wrong with it in and of itself, to be honest. But what I do think is wrong about this situation is that Diddy and his team spent so much energy and effort up front and
Yeah.
still continue to try to silence everybody else. They don't want Douglas Wigdor talking. They don't want Cassie's lawyer talking. They don't want Lisa Bloom talking. And I mean, look, fair, fine. But that means you got to shut up, and you can't have, well, technically, Mark Garagos isn't our lawyer out here yapping his trap whenever you have a pending motion to put a gag order on Lisa Bloom.
Yes.
That's where I feel like it's hypocrisy. In and of itself, I do think lawyers, if they want, should be able to talk about cases that they're on. But in the Mark Garagos situation, I believe he hasn't filed his notice of appearance on the case because I believe he is trying to skirt around this gag order that is on the lawyers in this case. I do wonder if the judge is going to admonish him for that thing that just came out just now, because here he is out here again talking about the Diddy trial again, and he may say it was pre-recorded and Harvey put that out. It didn't come out on Two Angry Men, but the judge already told him it was ridiculous or outrageous or whatever he told him about the 6-pack of white women.
And he's considered TMZ too. I mean, he's part of that podcast. Two Angry Men is TMZ, right?
Is it?
That's what I thought. Isn't that Harvey Levin's thing with that's his thing,
Well, I
right?
thought that it was I didn't know it was like a TMZ branded thing. But Harvey is the founder of TMZ, so it's probably affiliated. But
Yeah.
does it have like TMZ like branding on it?
Let me see. I feel like I saw something. Hold up. It's Two Angry Men.
Yeah.
Two Angry Men podcasts, and they're always promoting. They're promoting it on TMZ. Yeah, TMZ
Yeah,
Audio
it is.
Network.
It is. It's in the TMZ Audio Network.
Yeah, it's up there. TMZ Audio Network. Two
Did
Angry
you
Men.
cover Jonathan Audie on here?
I did talk about him and that whole situation. What do you think about that NDA? People said that it was fake.
It could be. I did have a twinge of like, what if this is just like to get like entrap people into being like the NDA was real? Because you know what? I was thinking about Derek Lee Cardello Smith, and he had filed those affidavits with his stuff. And then the prosecutor came out and said that with all those affidavits are fake, forged. So people then filed affidavits of their own saying, that isn't me. I am me. He filed stuff that's not me. So then it's kind of like, no, you, like that Rick and Morty episode or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, who knows? So
It's not the
now
first time Cardello did that. I guess it's been like, I don't know why. I mean, I guess he has all the time in the world to do that.
But then again, here's the thing. If what he's saying is true, then that means every single judge and that he named and every single person that he named who are all high up and more credible than him do have an incentive to lie. Do
Yeah.
have an incentive to forge. So it's like, don't mistake. Okay. I don't necessarily think that those are real affidavits. In fact, if you really were going to push me on it, I would say they probably are more likely not authentic. If you're really going to push me on it. Okay. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, it's probably real. However, like, I just don't know. I was not there. I say that a lot, but it's like, that is really the truth. You know, I don't know if your grandparents used to say, only believe half of what you see and don't believe anything of what you hear.
Yeah.
So if you just heard it through the grapevine, no, don't believe that. And I really grew up like that. So it's like, I don't think it's probably real. I don't think it's probably real, but I keep my mind open because who knows? I mean, if what he's saying is true, there's like 4 or 5 judges that were taking payments. There's judges that are going to lose their jobs and their licenses. And it's going to open a whole can of worms of what the department was doing whenever it's so much easier to just keep this guy quiet. He's already been convicted. Again, I think he's probably filing false stuff. And I think if he is, then he should be admonished. He should be in trouble. You know, you don't do that. That's crazy. Because I mean, I'm a victim of that, of having false stuff filed about me in court. So, I mean, I'm biased. I don't want that. I don't want nobody to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Unless I hate them. But I'm not lying in court. Isn't it weird how, like, it seems like people just, like, some people just get away with stuff forever and nothing ever happens to them. And then some people can't do any little slight, tiny, teeny little thing. It's like, isn't it so strange how the rules just, like, don't really equally apply across the board?
No, I agree. And that goes back to that question, and we were talking about that jury question about, do you believe that people with money get away with things? I'm just like, guys, I don't know why who would have answered no to that. I don't know. I feel like people with money can get away because you have the resources to do it, right? That's a potential.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about all the different little legal tactics we've seen over the last year. Think about all these civil cases, the private investigators they sent out. The fact that probably at least one of these crazy lawyers, I'll leave names out of it, but I know for a fact that we agree on at least 2 of them,
Yeah.
out here who are, like, maybe even possibly, like, actually always just working for the people they're suing
Yeah.
just to kinda, like,
And people don't
mess it up.
we notice it, but it's like, okay, I guess we'll just kinda ignore it until somebody gets in trouble, I don't know.
Until somebody gets in trouble, and that's one thing that came up in my chat today too. I would definitely like to hear your, thoughts on it. Diddy's the head of this whole ring. There's no head above Diddy. There's no co-conspirator. There's no accomplice. Every single person in Diddy's circle was being abused and manipulated only by Diddy, and he was the head of this hydra. I feel the same exact way about the Big U case. I don't know if you had occasion to look at that, the Rolling
Mm-mm.
60s gang. It's like a few people on the No Jumper podcast were in this supposedly, allegedly in this Crips faction. And this guy, Big U, Eugene Henley, he is being charged, tried now with a RICO, same thing, but similar, not exactly, because his isn't as much as crimes. It's more, rug and extortion scheme. Like, you got to check in with the leader when you get into town. And then if you don't, then you got to get beat up, or, something happens. You got to pay and extort, like, you got to pay him money to make a music video, like that kind of thing. And it's like, maybe. But you're telling me that one guy I never heard of in my freaking life runs all of LA, all the celebrities, no, freaking absolutely
Mm-mm.
not. I don't believe it. You know who I want to see investigated? Leor Cohen, Jimmy Iovine, Clive Davis. Can we get a little bit up the head of the Hydra? Because we're still talking about people that are public. All right. The
Yeah.
real, true owners of this thing, we don't even know their names. So can we at least get up to a Clive Davis, a Barry Weiss
Tommy
level?
Mottola,
Level.
no, I definitely, I just don't think that it's, and the thing is I don't think Diddy's going to throw anybody under the bus as well.
You
Um,
don't.
mm-mm. I don't. I mean, he would have done it already, I think.
What if
Well,
he
look where we're
did?
at. Well, look, and then they turned as a witness. I guess I have a lot of questions about that. All the people that this man surrounded himself, and nobody said any, like, think about Oprah too, right? Oprah was there too. There's a lot of these other individuals. Either there's footage of them, or they knew of him, or they like kind of were very passive to the things that he was doing. French Montana is another person. It's been rumored that he's probably one of the witnesses. Really? I don't think French Montana would turn on Diddy's. French Montana's career was built off of Diddy. That's another person. He's had his own allegations too. It's like these people don't ever I don't know. They're very, it's almost like, how do I say this? It's like once you take an oath, if
Mhm.
that's what they did, um it's like, all right, this is what you accept, but who did he piss off? Because like I said, I don't know if he would have like had Diddy and Cassie settled, had this been a quiet thing, there would be no RICO, right? Like, would there
I
be a
do think
RICO?
I do think her case was a big one, and then, oh, man. Now I'm just wondering, is this just the way to get people criminally? Like, somebody has to sue him civilly first? Like, thinking about all the criminal cases I've read recently, it's all got references to civil cases, and in the feds, when they finally did indict him, they referenced Cassie and Lil Rod's cases. Um It's I don't
One
know.
case always referenced the other one. You notice that in the civil cases? Well, this is and it's typically like in the, what is in the factual or in the historic, he has a known this. Every Ariel Mitchell kid did it with the other ones. Tyrone Blackburn's, this, as shown on this case that he settled, this is, it's a known fact that this man did this or something like that. That's why I'm
They
like,
do, yeah.
it had Diddy actually settled, and I think that this was a long time coming for Diddy and Cassie. When he was at the BET, we talked about this yesterday. He was at the BET Awards, right? And he thanked Cassie. And this was what, 26?
For
No,
holding it down and
for
all those
holding it down,
years.
right? And this was a BET clip. And I felt like I said, oh man, that was him saying like, don't forget that you still need to hold it down type of, like, it was like definitely a foreshadowing of things, right? But
Didn't
also
she
like,
bring it up in her case too?
yes, she did. She brought that up on the case.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I was in a dark place for a few years, you know what I'm saying? And I have to give a special shout out, thank you, all that love. Cassie for holding me down in the dark times. Love.
So this is why I was like, I would have taken that as an attempt to intimidate me too, if I was her.
Yeah,
So
like I haven't stopped thinking about you, Cassie.
yeah. So
Is
he
less-
knew that this was coming down. And then there were other people that were saying in the industry, in the circle, that were saying that she had been threatening to write a book about Diddy for quite some time. And so then had this lawsuit been settled and had it not gone public, I don't know if there would have been a RICO. The people have been saying this. We don't know if there would have been a RICO. It makes you wonder.
and if there's gonna be a RICO, and maybe there is S crimes, and maybe people should be held responsible, like they absolutely should if they commit them, right? But you got to think about, and I know that you do, from the perspective of a victim, from a perspective of an actual, especially if it's a real actual victim of SA or T, that is excruciating to put a person. So when you're the Fed, I'm the Fed. Okay, here I am. I'm the Fed. I haven't charged Diddy with nothing yet. I'm looking at all this pool of evidence from all these people, all these interviews, all this stuff, and I'm going with the one where I have to put people on the stand and relive it. What about financial stuff? What about false advertising? What about you went through every single one of his books and records. You went through every single one of everything. The best possible thing y'all got is ST racketeering, a racketeering conspiracy with no co-defendants, no co-conspirators. And Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Idiot Combs, you're expecting me to believe was the mastermind of something that complex? Yeah. Come on. That's the best they could do? I don't buy it. I don't.
And that's where I asked the question. I said to everybody, it's like, I want, this better be more than just about freak offs. This better be more than just about freak offs, guys, and that is the argument that the defense is making. They're saying, well, hey, this is about somebody's sex life and choices. And, in a, toxic relationship, this is what the argument that they've been making. I said, this better be more than about that. And it doesn't really escape me, too, that the DA that brought this forward, the main one, he's gone. He came in here. Yes. Eric Adams was also one of them. His stuff is gone too. What happened to that? Hold up. Did he run the city? I still have my picture. Here it is. Did he run the city? We can't, I'm just like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You still have the key to the city, girl.
I can't get over Eric Adams. I can't. And he just did an interview with Piers Morgan too. I just can't.
I feel like, okay, I'll tread lightly. Hold on. Let me see how I want to phrase this. I don't personally, this, people in the chat might know this. I don't personally subscribe to any political side. I don't have a political party. I do not subscribe to either one. Okay. I'll leave it at that. But that being said, I know some people are very, very strongly, on the one or the other side. It kind of can cloud the judgment, I think, whenever making analysis of this type of stuff. But the president has changed since Diddy was charged. And it just so happens that the current one sitting in the office, no matter how much y'all might like him or not, it doesn't really matter. That's not the point. The objective reality is the man was on the super secret VHS tape invitation to one of Diddy's 1990s in that era birthday parties. Okay. Yeah. He's on there inviting you to the birthday party. So I'm not saying he went to the FOs, although if I find out he went, I will not be in any way surprised at all whatsoever.
Nothing.
Hanging out with these people. He was hanging out with Diddy. So what if even they did like a just so innocent of a little business transaction at some point, even that's some type of familiarity? I think they were friendly. I think they're came up in New York.
Always praised him. Don't forget, Celebrity Apprentice was one of my favorite shows. I used to love it. Yes, and I remember the Aubrey O'Day situation where she's talking about Diddy and he was like, well, he's a great man. And there's videos out there.
I am a very strict and focused businesswoman because working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy?
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that
Oh,
question.
well, I
don't
think
know.
he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Guy who, you know, was on the, doesn't mean that he was out violating young women.
No, of course
but he
not,
was
no.
still traveling with Epstein. Like, that just, to me, that just says that, you know, you're sitting at the same table with these people, and yet your head of trying to make things better, make this area great again, whatever the hell that means. But I'm there too. I don't subscribe to any political ideology because I think they're both trash, honestly. I've been disappointed by both.
Anything that becomes like an organization where it's like you got to put the loyalty to the organization over your own self. I'm not going to define what that is, but I don't want any part of it.
Yeah.
And that goes with politics, that goes with religion. I can say there's some things about things I like without saying I am that thing. Because once you subscribe to a group identity of something, oh, I am this party, I am in this party, you about to be associated with all that and all
Yeah.
those people. So it's like you want to be on the Diddy VHS tape. Woo! I mean, look, listen, I also know that yeah, like you said, Eric Adams charges got dropped. I'm starting
What is
to
that all
like,
about?
can we just get a little justice somewhere? I never thought every bad guy was gonna go down. Could we get one real bad one and like actually make them go down the one time? Can we at least get one time and see? Like Bernie Madoff was good. Can we get another one of those real? Can we just get another one? Just one.
Mike Jeffries, CEO Abercrombie guy. That guy also. So he's been found incompetent. He's going to be locked into a hospital while they're evaluating him for like 4 months. There's another one. And it wasn't just 15. There's 40 more people that came, 40 more male people. Yes. And that was an update that nobody really talked. We talked about it here, but nobody really brought that up. I said, wait a minute, guys. Abercrombie and Fitch, whether you wore the brand or not, was like the iconic thing that everybody, you know, you had somebody in high school that would wear it. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things.
You know,
It's
I
like,
feel like they're not doing the same astroturfing for him. Like, you know, I mean, I know you see it, right? Like, without calling anyone's names out, it's like 15, 20 YouTubers come out on YouTube, say the same, basically the same exact message within a few hours of each other, similar titles, similar clips they're reacting to. It's like almost like, even if they're just in a little group chat saying, oh, let's talk about da-da-da today, even, right? I think they have managers that are telling them what to say, but let's just say they're in even like coordinating at all. Like, what if I were to say, oh, Rabbit, let's both talk about whatever, who P. Diddy today or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like something is up with that with Diddy and with Blake Lively. There's just so many of these freaking there could be nothing at all going on with this Blake Lively, but these people will dig it out of the crack of the back of the crack of the couch to talk about some old lint from 14 years ago because they got to get their Blake Lively out. It's like, y'all can't talk about nothing else. You're giving it away.
Giving Fox News. That's what it's.
You're giving yourself away on YouTube.
I know.
But I feel like with Mike Jeffries, I don't feel like they've put that type of PR.
No, they didn't. No,
so
they
it's
didn't.
like hard to start the AstroTurf, the fake seeded narrative or the real seeded narrative. The narrative that's seeded could be real. I'm not even saying it's always necessarily false, but like, I don't feel like even when I made videos about it too, I noticed even like, the audience was less like interested in it. Like, it's almost like people just are going to let that guy get away with it.
They're going to let it go. I don't get, but then you have Smokey Robinson, who's 85 years old. And then there's these allegations. I'm like, wait a minute.
Why are they waiting so long and late? Like, it's hard to get an old man convicted. The jury don't want to send him to jail.
85. Jeffries is 80. They're all in their 80s. How old is Clive Davis? Isn't he in his like 90s?
Gotta be.
I'm gonna listen. I'll
let you go, girl. I just wanted to come through and say, oh, and to close out the first question you asked me.
Yes.
And I'll let y'all go. Thank you for having me on. This was fun.
No, I want to clip this whole conversation. I'm gonna put it in a separate video and tag you because I love this conversation.
Love that. Definitely do that. So does it surprise me that the judge did this about face, that he's all of a sudden now wanting to wait even longer because he was ready to be done on Wednesday. Now he wants to wait even longer. No. At first it did. At first I was like, what is this man doing? He got compromised. What's going on? Think about it this way. And this is how I thought about it. And this was I was like, okay, I think I know what he's doing. He didn't say this. But like, let's say, okay, today, bam, we're done. Boom, 3 p.m. Everybody know, or what would have been like noon. Everybody knows who the now we are not going to know who the jurors are by name
No,
until
we
after
won't.
the trial. And we might not know after the trial, but we're not going to know. But they'll know. So if I say like everybody knows who the jurors are, I mean them, like it's selected, the jury is selected. Let's say that happened today. Think about the fact that they would have the whole rest of the day Friday today, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and they got to avoid Googling. They got to avoid news. And you're just taking their word on it. You're just hoping they don't look up the news. You're just hoping they don't. So I think the judge might be actually thinking if they were to pick those 18 today and plus, to 12 plus the 6, jury is 12 people. Even if they somehow like 3 of the people looked up the news, 2 of the people got hunted down. I mean, whatever. The 6 alternates could have been expired at the beginning of trial. And then what? Because you want to have those alternates, because during a trial, stuff comes out like, oh, juror number 11 actually worked at the Human Rights Campaign as a legal assistant and never told us. And that would have made us strike her. The judge would have never even let her go forward. So we got rid of her and put in an alternate, because it doesn't really matter who's on the jury until they're in that box. It doesn't matter who's on the jury until they're in the room deliberating guilty or not guilty. So everybody got to sit through the whole trial. So stuff gets found out about people. People have a heart attack.
Yeah.
People fall. People get hurt. People, whatever.
Die.
Die.
Yes.
Whatever. And so, I mean, things happen where you need the alternates. And I do think the judge maybe was being a little bit more like in the mindset of what the lawyers were thinking on Wednesday, because today we found out 2 jurors dropped. So what if they would have picked the jury? If they would have picked the jury on Wednesday, 2 jurors would have not been in that jury. Then 2 of the alternates would have been in. And today we would have been starting with only 4. Think about that.
It's all strategy.
If they would have picked, like the judge wanted on Wednesday, finalize the 12 plus the 6. By today, one of the jurors was like, I don't want to be on the jury because of my personal safety. Boom. One alternate would have had to come in. They would have been down to 5 before even opening statements.
Mm-hmm.
And then that 146th juror lied. They had a lawsuit going on with the city and said they did not have any lawsuits going on. So they got kicked out for cause. If they would have had the jury picked on Wednesday, boom, it would have been only 4 alternates left. And where are you going to get more? The alternates are the more. So I think the judge was thinking like, let's just be extra, extra, extra safe, because the last thing you want is somehow, some way, God forbid, even let's say, some people might say Diddy, get a hold of a few of them. Pay them, whatever, not even do nothing bad, nothing wrong. That would be highly illegal and criminal. I'm not saying he would do that, but I've seen people say that.
Well,
the other
New York
jurors?
City, the New York nightclub shooting. I mean, yeah, and he was fighting for his life there.
Yeah.
I mean, the different things have been said about this is a whole different bald game. This is the first time I think that anybody's holding Diddy accountable to a lot of things. There was the City College situation, the New York nightclub. These are events that have happened, and now he's really fighting for his life in this one.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't really like around, I was alive, but I really wasn't following any of his earlier trials. And I'm sure they were like big news and big deals, but like it's just such a funny way of those stories disappearing, over the years. You just can't find them anymore.
Yeah.
Also, we don't know what the judge knows about under seal, redacted. We don't know what the judge knows about. He could have been getting calls to his chambers. There's so much stuff. And I feel like this judge so far has done a pretty good job of being fair on both sides. So I'm going to hold out hope that he made this decision for like the right reasons or some good logical reasons.
Yeah.
I think actually, now that I've really thought about it, I actually do see where he was coming from. And I probably would have done the same thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because, you don't know who's going to drop out. That lady in between the last 2 days, she said her safety, she's scared she don't want to be on the jury. That's fair. She shouldn't have to. But then what? We pick, you had one of those spots. Now we got to pull in all, So, but it is still unusual, and I think very frantic and last minute for them to just be like, nobody even knows who the jury is. It's going to be Monday. Opening statements were supposed to be going on and nobody even knows.
I'm a little nervous and I'm not even there.
Yeah. They said it's going to be a long line.
I'm a little nervous, but hey, I mean, I guess we'll find
I'm nervous too. I am too.
Oh my gosh. All right, BJ. Well,
Okay, well, I'm gonna head out. Thank everybody. Make sure you throw some rabbits in the chat for Rabbit. And
thank you,
make sure y'all
BJ.
didn't get accidentally unsubscribed from Rabbit's channel. You know that happens sometimes.
It does. It is what it is. Thank you, BJ. I'll see
Bye.
you.
Love you.
Bye. Make sure you guys check out BJ's channel, guys. You said he paid off witness number 3. I don't know. Hold up.